How's everybody doing? Wow. Like,
sorry, dude.
Holy shit moments about this. I'm going to be talking about something completely different. Like, it's actually even further away than night and day. It's completely different. But first and foremost, who am I? My name's Wayne. I graduated Truman State University. I work for Chipotle Mexican Grill, which I hope all of you know that. And I work in the marketing department. I've been with Chipotle for knocking on the door 7 years now, and yeah, it's a lot of fun. But I'm here today to talk about jobs, right? That's what we're here to do, right? Get jobs. Anybody here not want a job? Yeah. You've been in the workforce a minute, like. But yeah, so that's what we're here to talk about today, right? We're here to talk about jobs and getting you a job and making you good at the interview process. And hopefully, if you get a job, what comes next? That kind of morphs into a career, right? That's what we're here for. I mean, shoot, it's in the title, Career Prep Day, right? But I'm here to talk about something kind of outside of this scope, which I know is kind of weird because you're like, Wayne, we're here to get a job, I'm here to have a career. It's at Career Prep Day. Why aren't you talking about that? Well, because like with anything I do, from a speaking perspective, I always kind of look at things a little different. Anyone who knows me or has spent any decent amount of time with me knows that I just look at the world a little bit differently than some people. I love the fact that I have ODD. Yeah, odd. It's not ADD. These are as good as the jokes get, guys. That's all I got. That's it.
He's not making that up.
I know. I'm just an odd bird, and that's okay. Because we're going to talk, and I'm going to change that lens that I look through, looks at life a little differently. And I look at craft. And I define craft as, what would you do if money didn't matter anymore? What would you do? Does anyone know? Yeah, what would you do? What would you do?
Race motorcycles.
Race motorcycles. I would say I want to race motorcycles, but I would wreck motorcycles. Is what I would do, because that's how I work. But we're going to talk about the next step today, and it's a little on the soft side of discussion. You know, like we always talk about hard skills and soft skills. We're going to definitely be dancing around on marshmallows today, but it's going to be important, and that's the perspective that I bring to education of people in your guys' shoes. I do another talk that I did at the St. Louis League recently, and it was called Sticking the Interview, and that is about I say 85% of interviewing is science and 15% of interviewing is art. I talk about the 15% because there are so many people that do the 85 better than me, and there are so many people that talk about jobs and careers better than me. I talk about craft. I talk about the balance of that, which is really fun for me. I like it. And we're just going to jump right into it. So we all have this theory, right, about what is success. And I got a few bullet points up here, and these are what people have told me success means. You got to get the great job. You got to be the best candidate. You got to work hard. You got to do great results. You got to get promoted. You got to manage a staff. And at the end of the day, what do you get? You need to be happy. That sucks, right? I want you to come away from this presentation with one question burning in your head. And it's this one. I'm here to tell you what I think. I think this is fundamentally flawed and wrong. That's a problem, right? Because it's what everybody's been saying to you. Everyone's been saying work hard, get the great job, and eventually you'll be happy. Work so hard to get happy or to be fulfilled. We use those terms in interchangeably. I'm here to tell you that I don't agree with it. A good book around some of the topics that we're going to talk about today is called Happiness Advantage by Sean Acor. Please look it up. I do a remedial education of some of the topics in his book. His book, awesome. I mean, the guy studied at Harvard, lived at Harvard, and I can't speak enough about it. But we'll get into that. But we got to make sure that we get a little reality check. And the reality is that I don't really agree with it. I've told you that. But also, I would bet that most of you don't either. And maybe I'm wrong. But maybe I'm not. Because I don't think happiness should wait. I don't think fulfillment should wait. Most importantly, I don't think you should wait. And there's a little bit of science behind this. There's a variety of readings on the topic. But a term that's come up in the past 10 to 15 years is positive psychology. It's a study of outliers. And it's a study of how people interact with the real world, or their world, and how they derive positivity, happiness, fulfillment, pick your term, from that world. So I'm just going to introduce that term to you today and let you dig down the rabbit hole on that one, because Don actually does this to both of us. You take a 90-minute keynote and he says, can you do it in 20? I'm in that boat too.
With 5 minutes per question.
Exactly, with the Q&A. And by the way, the computer's not going to work, so you're going to start 10 minutes late. Is that cool? But the question when it talks about positivity and fulfillment is, can you actually grow it? Which is why we talk about cultivating fulfillment in this presentation. I'm here to tell you that you can. To stick with our farming analogy, because I work with a lot of farmers, and I like farmers, and we all need some more, so if you want a last-minute career change, I'm sure we can do it. But we want to talk about our seeds. We want to talk about what we want to grow, specifically. And this is an abbreviated list. These are some of the big hitters that I think were kind of important and also fun to talk about, because I'm doing the talking, so I want to have fun. Right? But you guys are going to be doing the talking later. So we're going to talk about positivity, our dream gig, and your circle. And these are some of the things that I think are important to cultivate in a young person's life. One of the reasons I know this is because I spent a lot of time after college kind of going under that success theory umbrella and losing and getting a whole lot of nowhere and not advancing my life the way I wanted to. And no one told me, which is why I'm here today. I'm going to be one, hopefully of many, people that tell you that you don't need to wait to fulfill yourself. You don't need to wait to be happy. You actually must do this now in order to be successful. Think of an easy example. First job out of college. Doesn't matter what it is. You're working on a team, probably 5 to 10 people. Who wants to work with a bunch of jerks? Anybody? Bueller? Man, I gotta get that. Man, I'm not completely outdating myself with these horrible jokes of mine. But no one wants to work with jerks, right? Who wants to work with a bunch of average people? Who wants to work with people that make them better and bring them up? And fulfill you in your work environment. That's what I want to do. Positivity is a big part of that. So we're going to talk about that one first. The big to-do around positivity, though, is very simple. And it goes to the core of the conversation. Is it the chicken or the egg? Do you have to be a positive person to get good karma coming back your way? Or does getting good things done and whatnot allow you to be more positive, which would then let you be better at what you're doing? Complete chicken or the egg argument. Doesn't matter. Just like the chicken and the egg argument doesn't. I'm a big believer in karma. Anyone else believe in karma? I think it's kind of cool. A lot of hands. Okay. You guys are serious. What's that?
You want to see answers.
Very true. That's right. But another interesting question around positivity, is it the norm? Or do you think it's an outlier? What do you guys think? Do you think it's on the normal distribution curve of people? Or do you think that positive people are kind of off the curve a little bit? There's no right answer. This is an opinion question. No one has an opinion. Okay. In the back, brave soul.
I think most people are more just kind of neutral with some positive and some negative.
Yeah.
Not, truly, like, really out there, often positive people are very noticeable.
And sometimes those people are crazy.
Yeah.
You're like, calm down, miss. You can just say, how are you? You don't have to scream. But I would agree with all of that, because it is a continuum. Everybody has multiple sides to how they just interact with the world. I would say in general, though, people who attack the world a little differently in a more of a positive manner prime themselves physically to do better at a lot of different things. Easy example. Me and my buddy, we are in downtown St. Louis. This is a horrible example. I shouldn't even do this. Okay. That would be a really bad current situation. So I'm in a bank. Different situation. I'm in a bank, and bank gets robbed. Crazy. I get shot in the arm. Right? I got another friend, gets shot in the arm too. I'm in the ambulance. My world is crashing around me. And I'm thinking, I'm falling apart. What the hell is happening? Why is this happening to me? What's wrong with the world? What did I do? And you get the friend in the other ambulance, shot in the arm, same thing. And he's thinking, thank God I didn't get shot in the head. I could be dead. I could be gone. That would have really sucked. It's a subtle difference, right? It's actually monumentally important on how you perceive your world. And when you can be thankful for the gifts that you're given, and when you can let those gifts affect you in a positive manner, you are priming yourself mentally to view the world through a different lens. Another thing about positivity that completely switching gears on you, I do a thing on my Twitter feed every week. I try to do it every week. Sometimes Fridays get really busy. But I come up with a list of things that I have in my brain, 3 things that make me happy that week. My son was nailing the baseball at T-ball practice. My wife and I get to go on date night. Or I just trained a new colleague at work, and they really nailed something that they're doing. Something that fulfilled me. Just doing that physically makes me feel different, because I remember things that are happening. Everybody right now, remember a memory of seeing a nephew take his first step, going skiing in the mountains, going on a beach vacation. Right now you're thinking about this fun memory that you have, and your brain is releasing different chemicals and hormones and making you feel good. A lot of you are smiling right now. That is a physical manifestation of a thought. But it's a physical change in you, because you physically feel better. But it was just a thought. It's actually not just a thought. This is what I'm talking about when we talk about the extreme soft sides of stuff. But positive people have the ability to channel their world and to set themselves up for greater levels of success, because they're primed to see it differently, and people gravitate towards it. Makes complete sense, right? Why isn't everybody talking about this stuff? Because it's hard. Do you think I'm going to back any of this up with like facts and be able to show you a graph or something like this? I can't. But does it sound wrong? Not really. Actually, kind of makes me happy. We're winning, right? That's the point. I got to come back here. My little remote control died on my phone. There's things with technology. But when we think about it, and I know we've already kind of addressed it with the topic that I was just talking about, was can we actually cultivate it? There are things that we can do to make ourselves be more positive. Some people journal. Does anyone write a journal? Got a couple. Journaling's great. Just don't journal about all the bad shit. Not good. Relive your positive memories. Has anyone here have like a good friend? Anybody? Good friend? Okay, thank you, all right. We're good social beings, we can have friends. But no. When was the last time you sat down with your friend, a cup of coffee or a cocktail or whatever, and you just said, you know what? I'm really thankful that you're my friend. And that we can spend time together and we can actually vibe off one another and help one another. It's a huge way to make somebody feel very special. But also, guess who else gets to feel special? We don't do enough of this, guys. And we're robbing ourselves of some good mojo. Or call it positivity. We're going to switch gears on you now. I'm going to talk about another seed that I want to cultivate. It's called the dream gig. It's one of my fun ones. I think I have a dream gig. A lot of people have dream gigs, right? Anybody know what your dream gig would be? Throw it out there. It doesn't matter. What's your dream gig? Anyone? No one knows what they want to be when they grow up? Huh?
Vacation planner.
Vacation planner. That's that's awesome. You make a week of somebody's life perfect. Hopefully, yeah. Fingers crossed. Hurricanes suck.
By the way.
But think about it. You're in that regard, you'd be doing a job that could give someone so much joy. You'd be smiling all day. And then someone's going to send you some pictures of them at the Dominican Republic at that awesome restaurant right on the beach. And you're going to be like, dang, that's awesome. And you're going to be able to relive that moment through them. It's fantastic. That's actually a very good dream gig. Why don't I use the word job here? Who has a job? Who has a gig? Who just in general, who does gigs? Who has gigs? Rock stars! Is there anyone in here that doesn't want to be a rock star? Okay, maybe not. You don't have to do like the blow and the lifestyle and all that. You can just be a person that gets to express their creativity and have everybody else appreciate them for it. But think about it. Rock stars get to go to their gig, right? They don't have to. They get to. That's huge. The thing about dream gigs, though, is that people don't believe it. Most. Because everyone wants to call it out and say it doesn't exist. Don't be afraid to throw in the towel whenever your heart's telling you this ain't it. I quit on my 1-year anniversary when I signed with Sprint Finance back in 2001. And the best decision I ever made in my life. Quit on my 1-year anniversary so I didn't have to pay back the signing bonus. Don't be afraid to feel beaten, to feel like you're not doing something that someone thinks you should be doing. I had a lot of fear around that. I didn't want to disappoint people. But I threw it away, and I chased my dream gig. It took me a while to get it, but I got it. I'm kind of good at handing myself on my bullet points. And that's kind of what I did to find mine. But the problem, I always love this quote by Steve Jobs in his Stanford commencement address. Has anyone seen that YouTube video? It's awesome, right? He talks about a phrase called foolish hunger. Stay hungry, stay foolish. You only get one life to live. When you're at the end of it, you don't want to remember the shit that you put yourself through. Okay? And I know it's scary. And some of you haven't even gotten to the point in your lives where you can
make that decision. Learn from some of us who have. Don't be scared. And by the way, no one else gets to evaluate your life other than you. Imagine saying you had the happiest life you could at the end of it. Last and certainly not least, we got just a minute or two to talk about the rest of this stuff. But we're going to talk about your circle. We're going to bring it up a little notch because that one can kind of be, that section can sometimes be a little self-evaluating. In Sean's book called The Happiness Advantage, Sean looked at incoming freshmen at Harvard, and he came up with just one, clear determining factor as to how well students would adjust to Harvard. Anyone think they know what it is? Their social support network. I call it a circle. It doesn't matter what you do. What matters is how you react. And people that lean on their social circles, use their friends, use their organizations to make them better, get better. Anyone know someone that got that big test coming up, and all they do is they want to go to the library and they want to go to a cubicle and they want to bury their head in their books and they want to read. Anybody? Anybody know like that? Anyone know? Something like that? Yeah? Is anyone that person? Yeah? Me too. I definitely was that way. I can still remember the cube I went to in the basement of Truman State University. No question. But I was also one of those people that would throw the book whenever I got so fed up, and I would call up all my friends and we would get to. So it's the whole when life gives you lemons things, right? What's the answer to this question?
Whiskey sours.
Whiskey sours. That's awesome. Steals my joke a little bit. No! But, well, okay, what is the answer to this question? The old phrase. Make lemonade, right? But whiskey sours are better! I say you add some love and you throw some parties. Sometimes love is ice cubes. Sometimes love is your friends. Sometimes love are those two and a bottle of vodka or a bottle of whiskey. But it's about taking something and turning it into something that you can build on to be better. Take a tough situation and turn it into a social reason to make yourself better, happier, more fulfilled, better to take the test. If you had got a big test to study for, you're cramming one night, do you think you would be better to cram for that test when that morning you flunked a different class's test or you aced the other class's test? What do you think? Ace or flunk? Aced. Why? You're right. Go ahead and say it.
Get passion at that point.
Yeah, you're in a good mood. It's awesome to ace the test. You're physically primed to do better. And that's what we're talking about when we're talking about building on ourselves and actually growing our ability to be better and to be fulfilled. We're coming up too dang close to the end, so we're gonna stop here. We got a little bit of wrap at the end, but just like anything, you know, we can't give ourselves more time. But got a few minutes at the end to talk about this. I know it's an interesting topic, and I know it's extremely fun for me. But sometimes people are like, this is a little weird. But yeah. So what do we want to talk about? Any questions that are coming out of these ways to actually grow ourselves and make ourselves more fulfilled? I'm sorry. Yes.
How does like the concept of emotional intelligence play into your talk about positivity?
It depends on what you mean. Elaborate just a little bit more.
How can it help you become a more positive person and succeed? How exactly?
So when we're talking about emotional intelligence, I mean, that's a pretty broad topic, but your ability to master your world and to self-analyze and to know how you react to situations, right? So what do you guys think? If you got a good bead on who you are, do you think you'll be more likely to be able to react positively to situations or less? What do you think? More, right? What's the critical point of that, though? Or the critical piece of that? If you're trying to self-assess, What can you not do? Don't lie to yourself. That's the critical piece whenever we do evaluation, is we think we're a little bit different than we might actually be. I completely admit that I am completely guilty because I lied to myself for a long time about what made me happy. I thought it was money. I thought it was things. Granted, I did love my jet ski. It was fun. And I got some of those memories, still floating around. The jet ski didn't make me happy. It was the time with my family. It was the time on the lake. It was the time, not the thing. So whenever I self-assess, I try and express some of my emotional intelligence, to be honest with myself. Long answer to a short question, though, so I apologize for that.
No, thank you.
I can never shut up. What else? I saw another hand. It was an enemy jumped out? Yeah. Sorry. Again, long answer. What else, guys? This is kind of a weird one, right? Right? Like, this is like, what is he really talking about? It's kind of weird. But, like I said, the only thing I want you guys to take away from this is that success theory we heard about. Is that right or wrong? Make up your own mind. I'm not here to tell you how to think. I'm here to get you to maybe just ask a question. Sometimes that exercise in itself can be enough to spark some real change within you, in your world. Anything else? We're at 2 o'clock.
I agree with everything you said.
Thank you. Write it down. Publish a book.
I will speak to what you said on journaling. I actually got, a few years back, my wife said I'd become the angriest person she's ever known. But she hangs around a lot of happy people, so I probably just got down to normal.
You were like mid-range.
Yeah, I was there. But I did take a journal, and just every night I would write down 3 things that made me happy that day. It didn't matter how stupid they were.
Yeah.
A lot of times, believe me, in the beginning it was very hard to do. I'm like, why should that make me happy? That was supposed to happen. It was supposed to happen. Why should I be pleased with it? It didn't go above and beyond. It wasn't accepted. I wrote it down anyway. It's amazing. In about 3 weeks' time, my brain had rewired itself to the point where I got to, like, throughout my day, I was like trying to find stuff to write down. And by the end of the day, it was so easy, and then I quit doing it, but it stuck. Most of it.
The one thing, or there's many things. First off, kudos for doing it. 3 weeks' time, 21 days. I say nothing's a habit until it's 21 days. Nothing. Good example. I'm going to wave my own awesome flag because, yeah, I shouldn't say it. I've lost 40 pounds this year. 40. Chubby, looked like I had that neck pillow that you buy at the airport when you sleep. That was me. I've lost 40 pounds this year. I did it by using an app on my phone. But the first few weeks, hated it. But I stuck with it. About 3 weeks a month, it became habit. I've already journaled the Chipotle burrito, or half of one, that I ate today in that app. And I don't need to lose any more weight. That's not the point. The point is I got into a pattern that allowed me to be better at whatever it was. Anyway, here's a good tip from one of my other keynotes. Anyone go, like, this is one of the things I do. I go in the restroom right before an interview. That doesn't mean I haven't went in the restroom in 7 years. But, yeah. But I go in there and I look at myself in the mirror and I think about things that make me happy. I think about water skiing. I think about my son. I think about my wife. I think about our first vacation to Mexico. I think about our cruise to Hawaii. I'm mentally priming myself to be happy, walking into an interview. Do you think people want to hire happy people? Or do you think people want to hire jerks? But if you relive your positive experiences through journaling, through even just, hey, how'd your day go? Your girlfriend, your roommate, your boyfriend asked you that probably, right? What's our knee-jerk reaction to do? What do we tell them about? The good, all the bad. All of us, if we're being honest, would say that. Force yourself not to. Even if the world threw you just a soup sandwich that day. How'd your day go today? I didn't fall down. That's a win, right? I didn't fall down today. How'd your day go today? I didn't fail the test. I just got to see.
but lead with the positive. And I know that sounds frilly, but it can and will change you, I promise. Even if the needle moves this. You don't have to peg it. Even just the needle moves a little bit. Do it for 21 days. Now the needle can move a little bit more. Time's up, guys. Bye, and I'm over. But I did bring in some free burrito coupons. You're on the honor system. Take some, take two. And that's all I got. Thank you.